Hey, this is Brian Stillman. I'm with BeTerrific.com. We're here at NAB 2019 in New York City at the Javits Center. We are spending the day talking to people, checking out the gear, looking at all the new technology that's coming out for broadcasting, TV, film, audio, everything. It's really, like I said earlier, this for me is a little bit of heaven. I am a total gear nerd, so this is great fun, and I'm glad you could join us all here today. I am with Jim OCON. He is the president of OCON Solutions, and there you're dealing with media asset a lot of ranges of consulting. Why don't you explain to everybody what you're doing? Why don't you drill this down?
Yeah. It's funny. You get a lot of, it's like cloud, right? You ask someone cloud how many different responses you're going to get. I figured out the cloud is a server in Fresno.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where the cloud is. Right. Server in Fresno. So. For me, I see, the topic is AI and transcoding. And what does that really mean? Well, everybody transcodes. And what I mean by that is if you might have a cell phone or a regular standard camera or some device that takes video and turns video into something else, at some point, that packet is going to have to go somewhere and get flipped.
Right.
So the transcoding paradigm we have is we're saying, well, what if we took that piece of work that has to get done normally at the editor level or some other maybe the station. What if we combined AI resources with that? What if that was more of a software-defined sort of paradigm? What we're talking about is having this be more intuitive, and you're going to see a convergence of what we all figure out what the heck is AI. You're going to see those two come together. Now, let me give you an example.
Yeah, what's that going to look like? When you say an intuitive process handled by AI, is that just understanding, well, the workflow is they're shooting here and we know it's got to go to air and it needs to be in such and such a format, so it just does it as walk me through this a little bit.
It's a couple things. I mean, let's look at your storage, at your archive. I mean, how many of you guys have a big pile of tapes back there that you're trying to encode and then have whatever, and then you may have some sort of lookup software to find out what's on that. And how do you get that into your live event? The problem is it's an island. So what I'm doing is I've partnered with a company called TVU Networks, and they have a product called MediaMind. And I consider it the best AI in the industry. And what we're going to do with another company called Avico is we've created an API, an interface, a product interface between TVU's MediaMind and Avico. And the reason why we're doing this is we're going to make the automation system much smarter by taking AI and inserting it in a couple places in the workflow. Okay. That way the person that's punching the buttons, they don't know that content that's been looked up either is coming from the storage room, or if they're doing a live to drive, they've got some tape, and remember, it learns too. So AI is also a combination thing. So if you kind of combine those things, I know it's a bit to take, but we're talking about smaller, faster, more intuitive.
In that context, what is the AI doing, though?
Oh, sure.
So, again, pile of tapes in the back, guy in the control booth hitting the buttons.
Right.
Who's doing what at that point, and what is the end result of the things that they're doing?
Well, my advice to you guys out there is if you're investigating or doing due diligence on a product or a company that says they have AI, really look at what that AI is. It may be a small university somewhere. It could be some big conglomerate. We all know the Amazons of the world, or Microsoft, and all these sorts of guys. But AI specifically, as a tool set, can do several things for you. So if you're doing object or character recognition, you might be using somebody's facial detection and going, hey, that's actor so-and-so, and now that you've seen it go through several times, the machine even knows it doesn't even have to do a web lookup to find out and verify that person. But now that person that's a line producer can then do a search on that, and it'd be good for a breaking news event. Let's say you're a post-production person and you've got all this content that you want to chew through. I mean, how much time? Okay, I won't mention the cable news network, but I'll say that a certain cable news network had to go through and find a bunch of Monica Lewinsky footage, I think from the 90s. So they had somebody, an employee going, and they went through hundreds of hours of just trying to find this one video.
Right.
MediaMind, they did 30 seconds.
Okay.
So I don't know if that starts to translate.
It sounds like what you're eliminating is the sort of army of PAs or whoever sifting through tape.
Yes.
Eliminating
Perfect.
building the database of like on tape 4 at 30 seconds, we've got so-and-so. And at 32 seconds, this other dude comes in.
Yes.
So at that point, you can just say, looking for whoever, boom, the AI.
Exactly.
Knows where
this
it is.
is really about resource management and really operating smartly. So I know it's a bit, but
How are a whole bunch of college graduates going to get their first job in the industry if they don't sit there logging footage?
Well, something, I attended the sports transport group yesterday, and I think the number of live events that were counted, and I think the U.S. was gone from something like 41,000 to 43,000 in just 1 year. So I think there's a lot of opportunities for content out there. And you're right, it can be an interesting discussion depending on where you are and where you put those people. But look, automation for me and AI is more of a liberating thing. It should allow us to focus on the product and focus on the content and let these machines do the yeoman's work. Yes, it frees up, exactly.
When I sit down to edit a project, the reason that it takes me 10 times longer to edit it than it should is because the first 90% is me sitting there going I do not want to log this footage.
Right. But AI, AI to a police officer may be a different version of AI to, let's say, a news director. Or to a filmographer. Let's use a red hat analogy. So a law enforcement guy, if you're using AI, would care that it's a red hat. It's a tactical thing. They don't care about the opacity. They don't care how sharp it is or anything. But from an AI perspective, somebody who might be in the film industry may need a completely different kind of product that acquiesces towards that particular use case. There may be disparate AIs that are out there, but all of these, that's why I said it's going to be really interesting to see this in the next couple of years. But OCON Solutions is already making a product out of this by listening to our clients and hearing about all these problems with their automation and problems with their archives and problems with how to get this stuff in the control room. So that's what we're trying to solve.
I mean, I can joke about hating logging footage. That's one project, however many tapes. But when you're talking on the broadcast level, they've got archives going back.
We have one
decades.
Client. It's years, and the oxides are falling off the tape. I mean, literally, it's now or never, and you can't kick that can down the road. But what's the definition of insanity, right? So. We've got to do something different here, and so what we're going to do is leverage AI and reimagine our playout systems.
So for you, how does this product manifest itself? Are people
the MediaMind product? You mean,
or the I guess so, or the AI, whatever? Like, okay, so I'm a station manager or whoever, and I'm like, we need this. Our archives are 40 years deep, and we're constantly going back to them to pull out historical footage, so we always need to find clip X of whatever use it. Am I buying software? Am I buying a box that all the data runs through first? Am I buying a giant brain in a jar? What am I getting? Do you think? How do you see this ultimately manifesting itself?
First and foremost, you're purchasing software. Now, you have to watermark every one of these files, and it goes out the internet to look for this stuff. So you are going to need a box, but you don't need a rack of boxes. You need one box, so it can take the video in and look at the actual video. So you might have camera feeding, and it wants to look at that, but you also may have file-based media that also needs to be gone through and chewed through. And
God help us, tape-based media. I mean, we've got it all.
Who of us skipped over Windows 98? Went from 95 to Windows 2000. God forbid you went to Windows 98. Well, if you kick that can down the road, now if you say, well, we didn't have the budget, it didn't make sense because everybody's trying to save everything and we don't know what we got and blah, blah, blah. Now you can use AI to really make that process much more efficient, and it makes it not only a value add, but it makes it a good capex justification.
Do you see it on more of a micro level, where perhaps when you ingest footage, leaves the camera or whatever your media is, goes through this AI, and it starts binning everything for you?
Oh, certainly.
It starts organizing it in such a way based on whatever parameters you've taught it.
It's like a direct, you can go in and do some tweaks. I mean, we have we have a religious client, and let's say they want to talk about alcoholism, and so all of the, anytime one of the churches that come up with the word alcohol, they bring up a little edited piece, and all the line producer has to do is just put a a header and a footer on it, and and they're done.
And then the guy down the road who's doing a new piece on it but wants to take advantage of the archival footage, that's already kind of processed.
Exactly right.
You have an AI working for you, so to
speak. Have it pre-direct for you. Say, well, I don't at least get this, I'm going to tweak it. I know it's a bit much.
No, it's a great, at a conceptual level, it's fantastic. What does it take to implement it, though? You're talking about an ability to recognize everything from faces to phrases. I really like
how to implement? Give me a call, number one.
Well, so how does that happen? And how does it get to a point where it's going to work for you and you know it's going to get most of the footage you're looking for, at least, if not all the footage that you're looking for, out of your archives or out of your or whatever?
Well, you know, depending on how you do what's called a pass, or you scan the file, the video, if you add more delay, it gives it more time to really, the accuracy goes up in a huge way. If you're doing captioning, let's say you want to do just compliance captioning, you may have that turned down a little bit so it's a little more real live.
So bounce it out to a computer, and they scan it, and
right. So what? In fact, our client, I mean, we're doing this for captioning right now. We're bringing in and we're using this for captioning. It's a good saver that way. So, you know, what's needed is you need the appliance. And you need a way to feed it the video. It's really not that from a installation perspective. It's nothing. This is a cost of operation. You're gonna have to pay for the AI. And I would also caution you guys out there to make sure you do diligence on where they're getting that from, what's it costing, how does it fit into your plan,
that's the other
in your
question.
operating plan.
Is this something that only networks are going to be able to afford? How long does it scale to the point where the consumer, especially these days where there's a lot of independent filmmakers, I mean, the technologies are cameras are cheap. You have all sorts of internet outlets, you have streaming services. It's not hard for me to get my movies out there. I'd love to have access to a tool like this, but is it going to be the networks only?
Check back on OCON Solutions, because I'm coming up with the Rotten Tomatoes for AI. And just think about that for a second. You know, you'll look at use cases, police officers click here, filmographers click here, and then you'll go in and literally see, oh, there's some comments from someone that, hey, I know that guy.
Well, sure, but that's but being able to access it, being able to turn this AI into a tool, because look, the AI is out there. It's not like I can just call it up and be like, hey, Dave, I want to check out this footage. You still need the interface, you still need the software, you need the plugin, whatever it ends up being. You know, I work with a software that will transcribe my tapes, and it'll create not just a transcription, but it'll link up with my timeline so that I can do a search for...
It'll frame accurate, and it'll
bounce me right to the clip. It's great. And I know it's bouncing out to an AI, and it works 98% accurate in the transcription, which is fine for what I'm doing. But I still had to get that plugin. So whatever interface or actual product this manifests as, you know, you found the AI, it's working, it's great, we know where we want to use, but I still need a thing. I still need a thing that I've purchased, that I've loaded into my software, or whatever.
The touch points would be an application on a smartphone. It would also be at the director console, you know, where you're going to see, you're going to see the you're going to see on your bottom console little pop-ups, thumbnails, and this is the AI working for it, and you're going, oh, look at this one. And
just
so,
grab it,
But this is, in this case, this is TV Media Mind's version of what they call of their AI. There's different ones that, you know, that you can look at. And it's fascinating stuff. I don't want to beat a dead horse here, guys, because I love this stuff.
Well, that's the thing. You can go down this rabbit hole on a academic level. And it's sort of... I mean, it's just endless. It's you know, we think of this stuff as science fiction, but the truth is it's right here, and it's working now. And it's only going to get better and more powerful, and useful as a tool for what we do.
I didn't mean to interrupt. No. To your point of working now, we're getting ready to announce this very thing. I mean, we've actually made it into a product.
So where can people keep an eye out for that announcement?
TVU Networks, or OCON Solutions, or Avico. Avico is either one of those guys. And also, let me take the time and thank you for an opportunity to come up here, and I think it's a great forum. And, you know,
I'm glad you came on board. I love talking about this stuff. I don't always. It takes me a second to ramp up to understand what you're talking about.
I'm just a propeller head. I'm just your ultimate geek, really.
Well, that's what you get from NAB 2019. We get deep dives into sort of the cutting edge of broadcast technology, film and TV technology. I'm here with Jim OCON. This is NAB 2019. I'm Brian Stillman with BeTerrific, BeTerrific.com. Stick around, we're going to have more content for you. And when you get a chance, go check out BeTerrific.tech to check out our new Quadro. I am so tired. Quadricep panels, new LED panels. They're flexible, they are cost effective, they're weatherproof, they're super bright, really out there for the new imaging solutions. Jim's going to check them out, and he's got AIs working for him.
I've got 4,000 LinkedIn followers. I think we'll see what
awesome.
happens here. Yeah.
Stick around, we will have more for you real soon.